October 7th, Israel's 9/11, was about cruelty and barbarism, and we knew immediately about the rapes and the tortures and the kidnappings because it was live streamed. The very first tweet I saw about it, I was with my family on Thanksgiving and I wasn't really paying attention to Twitter, and I saw that the Ayatollah of Iran had tweeted a video showing hundreds of Israeli teens and 20-somethings running in a field away from terrorists. They were at that outdoor dance party. And I looked at the video and I just saw a few lines about what the Ayatollah said. And I didn't, like I just said, okay, a bunch of people running, what is that even? I didn't even understand. I just glanced at it because I was with my family. The very first note I saw about Israel's 9/11 was a tweet from the Ayatollah about children being massacred. He was so proud of that. Children being massacred, the first thing. And so all the rallies of exhilaration and exuberance were based on the massacre and slaughter and rape and torture and kidnapping of women and children, of civilians. Like I say, that day, Israel was not defeated. There is no Palestinian state. Gaza, life has not improved. The Palestinian state has not been recognized at the United Nations. It does not have, there was no quantifiable step forward other than the massacre of Jews. And don't say Israelis or Zionists, because if you read the Hamas charter, it says Jews. It also mentions Israel and Zionism. But again and again and again, we showed it the other day, I think 16 times it talks about killing the Jews. Jews. And that was the cause for celebrations around the world. Now, these Hamas rallies talk about, well, Israel shouldn't fight back, and Israel did this, and Israel did that. But never forget that the jubilation in the days that followed, the rallies in the days that followed, were reacting only to one thing: the slaughter of 1,400 Jews and the kidnapping of 200 more. One of the very first images was a woman being raped, who had just been raped. You could see the blood on her pants. She was taken in and back to Gaza. One of the very first images was of the dead body of another young woman being driven around the back of a pickup truck while other Gazans would physically hit the body and spit on it and defile the dead body. That was what was being celebrated. That is how Timurlane would have done it 720 years ago. A man who, despite the attempt to clean up his biography on Wikipedia, I should have known better than going that site, he murdered a greater percentage of people than anyone else in world history. Yeah, I hate to say it. Here is one of the first images I saw of a woman. You can see she has been raped. She is being paraded around Gaza. They're filming it. They're live streaming it. This is the celebration. This is what Hamas wanted you to see. That's barbarism like they had in pre-Columbus Central America. It's barbarism like they had under Timur or Timurlane, the world's greatest killer. And to see that celebrated in the Christian West by two kinds of people, by woke white people who have been taught to hate their own homelands, and by people who have come to the West from these horrific places and have, like Amira El-Gawabli, only a veneer of liberalism to them. And when push comes to shove, they'll side with the murder of their historic enemies, their genetic enemies. To kill children who are morally not culpable of anything, they're children, babies. In one horrific case, to cut a baby out of its pregnant mother's body and behead the fetus, which is one of the things that happened. That is a Stone Age level of barbarism. That is like the child sacrifice of the Aztecs. That is like the pure monstrous cruelty of Timurlane. And that's what has caused me the most concern in the last 10 or 17 days, however long it's been. I'm worried about World War III. I'm worried about the gathering storm. I'm worried about Iran and Russia and Turkey and Hezbollah and Hamas. I'm worried about all that. I'm worried that Joe Biden is the worst leader possible for that. I'm worried that the U.S. military is weakened, not just in terms of its equipment and its ammunition, but in its morale. And I'm worried about China entering the fray. I'm worried about all of these things. But what actually causes me the greatest worry is the home front here, that we now know we have in our institutions, in every university, in many city halls, in many parliaments and legislatures, thousands, tens of thousands, I would say hundreds of thousands of barbarians. And I'm not just saying that, oh, he's such a barbarian. No, I mean actual barbarians. I mean actual people who are fine with murder, who love murder, who celebrate murder. Hey, can you get that girl with the AK-47 earrings? Our friend David Menzies encountered a woman who was wearing machine gun earrings. And he asked her about the horrific violence. And she basically, I'm going from memory here, we'll play the clip in a second. You can even get the one from Twitter. It's the most succinct. Or you can find the YouTube version and just get right to the part of it. She says, that didn't happen, and if it happened, they deserved it. That's quite a logical fork. They would call that a fork in chess. Either way, we got you. You know, in chess, if you make a move and they have to lose one piece or the other, that's called a fork. So this pro-Hamas woman, who I think was born in Canada, she has a tiny bit of an accent, but I think that's just like a Mississauga accent. So you can't blame some foreign government for operating. She's a Canadian. And she's wearing the machine gun earrings, and she's wearing a machine gun shirt that says never give up your gun. But she's not a firearms, Second Amendment type. She's a kill the Jews type. And here, let's play what she has to say. Take a listen.
Terrorist group.
Oh, it isn't, ma'am.
First of all, Hamas is not a terrorist group.
Hamas
is not a terrorist group.
What is it, like a motorcycle club?
It is a resistance that has been fuming for 75 years of colonialism, of occupation, of murder, of rape, of little children, of women. That's what they are. They are resistance.
Do you think Canada is a colonialist country too?
Everything that they do is justified.
Including what happened last week?
Every single thing they have done is justified.
Ma'am, there were children murdered. There were babies beheaded.
Babies beheaded, really? Please educate yourself. Please check the news, because as a news reporter, you gotta check the fucking news, because they said that shit was fake, okay? Multiple times. Different channels, even Biden himself, his ministers and his idiots said himself that news was fake. So, there's no 40 beheaded babies.
And there were no 1,300 deaths in Israel?
There's no evidence. There's no photos whatsoever. Hamas is a Muslim group. They would never do that because it's against Islam. That's number one. And that's something that they show.
Do you really believe that?
There is evidence of Israeli women saying that they gave us.
You can watch the whole clip, but you see the fork? Everything they did was justified. Everything they did was justified. Oh, and also they didn't do it. And Islam would never tolerate that. Well, it's in the Hamas charter, and I wonder what Tamerlane would say. That's what worries me. That woman on the streets of Mississauga worries me. Oh, hi, everybody. Did you know that every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, we have a live stream where we talk about the news of the day, go over viral videos, hot tweets, tweets, hot takes, and we read your comments. In fact, if you make what's called a super chat or a Rumble rant of $5 or more, we'll read your comment on the air and respond to it. I've been doing a lot of these live streams lately, but when I'm not here, my friends Sheila Gunn Reid and David Menzies do it too, and they are way more fun than me. But either way, it is a good show, and it's a way to stay up to date with the news of the day in short, snappy updates. It's not scripted. It's a live stream, and it's fun. You can always watch us on Rumble on YouTube, or just go to rebelnews.com. That's every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern. See you there.